everyone, welcome into the State Champs studio to episode 8 of Above the Net, sponsored by Raymond James. As always, I'm joined by Vince Muscat, our volleyball analyst, or I should say senior volleyball analyst. But we had a busy weekend with Beasts of the East. You were there all day long. What did you see out there?
Yeah, I got a couple takeaways. It was an exciting tournament, probably the most loaded field we've ever had as a host.
Yeah, and on your screen you can see the pools, just as a reminder of all the teams who played in it, because we had some of the players on these teams are in our top 10 for Volleyball Player of the Year, so we had a ton of talent out there this weekend.
What's exciting, I think, about volleyball in Michigan is the underclassmen that are playing, and there were a lot of underclassmen at Beasts of the East that really stepped up. And played a big role in several team successes. I think in a team sense, North Branch Division II made it to the semifinals, took Marion to 3, and they look good.
Yeah.
They're going to be dangerous. They're the favorites in Division II, and they're going to be tough to beat. I know there's some teams, we're going to talk about a couple D2 teams who are looking up at them. I think you've got Utica Eisenhower has kind of been inconsistent all season long, and I had to mention them. They played great. They upset Saline. Saline was our hot team last weekend.
Yeah,
that moved up, and
them.
Saline went 0-3 in pool play and struggled. So it shows you a lot of parity.
Yeah.
In the tournament, and then SMCC and Plymouth Christian Division III schools who competed with all those top Division I, Division II schools. So it's an exciting tournament.
We might as well jump right into our takeaways from Beasts of the East with two of the biggest games that were played. So Northville came to play in this tournament. For our first game, we'll highlight, we've got Northville taking on Forest Hills Northern. Northville swept this one with Abby Reck leading the way. We've talked about her all year. She's in our top 10 list for Volleyball Player of the Year. Northville's Taryn Rice also had a great game. Forest Hills Northern is in our top 10 rankings as well, and they played really good, but Northville proved to be too much. Vince, what did you think of that matchup?
Yeah, had ringside seats for that fight. Forest Hills Northern, their left sides are amazing, led by Kennedy Lewisella. I think if they're gonna compete for a state championship, I think they need to get their middle game going.
Yeah.
I think all these Division I teams can stop some outsides if that's all they go to. I think you saw that in the finals with Northville and Marion. But if they can add a couple weapons to their offensive game, I think they're going to be really dangerous.
That was a great game there, and that brings us right to the championship match at the Beasts of the East. Northville hands top-ranked Marion its first loss of the season. Believe it or not, Northville won the first set 25-23, so that one was close, and then dominated the second 25-15. These are two top teams who play electric. We saw Northville's Abby Reck had another big game, leading her team to a win. You were right there in the front row for that one too. What did you see in this matchup in these two teams?
I think if we're talking about Player of the Year, Abby Reck is in that category and a favorite right now for what she's doing with Northville. Marion in pool play did have a couple injuries. Some key contributors went down. And like I said about Forest Hills Northern, they really relied heavily on, once those Ella Schomer and Reagan Sass went down, they really relied heavily on Molly Banta and Izzy Buciani. Northville is just too much. Ella Craggs, their setter, distributed a nice game. I think in the end, when you're talking about being in the gym for 12, 13 hours and playing a long time, I think your legs are noodles,
yeah.
basically. And I think we saw that, especially in that second set where Northville dominated. They were just, I think, more well-rested, and they had a little bit more of their legs under them, and that's where Marion kind of fell apart. But if I had to predict now, I think these two are playing in the state finals come November.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Hopefully we'll see a round 2 of this matchup.
Absolutely.
And that'll probably be a tight one as well. But to wrap up our recaps, we head to the west side of the state. Holland Christian and West Catholic going head-to-head. Holland Christian's Sophia Pierce had a big first set as the Maroons took the first one. West Catholic trying to hang in there with some big plays themselves, but Holland Christian went on to sweep this one altogether. Sophomore Kiera Smits had 10 kills in the win. Trina Vanderswag recorded 4 aces and 33 assists. Holland Christian's head coach says this definitely was a team effort.
From the bench to everyone who plays, we really emphasize our role on our team. If we can embrace our role in the mental game, then we can beat most teams.
Vince, a good matchup on the west side of the state. What do you see in these two teams?
These are two very good Division II teams, top-ranked Division II teams that are gearing up for the end of the year. I know Holland Christian has a tough road ahead of them. I think next week they play Coopersville in their conference, and Coopersville is a Division I top 10 team too.
Yeah.
So got some exciting matches for these two teams coming up.
That'll bring us right into our top 10 rankings for this week. And with all the games this past weekend at Beast of the East, we did see some shakeup in the top 10. So if you look at your screen, you can see it right here. Number 1, Marion. Number 2, Northville. We'll get into that a little bit in just a second. Number 3, Forest Hills Northern. Number 4, Forest Hills Central. Coming in at 5, North Branch. 6, Hudsonville. 7, Mercy. 8, Skyline. 9, Dakota. And then 10, SMCC. So Vince, we got to ask, Marion and Northville, 1 and 2. What went into that decision?
Lots of coaches' opinions.
Yeah.
I talked to a couple coaches over the weekend and like, what do you think they do? What do you think we do? And so the body of work that Marion has, that it was over, I think, 13 months since their last loss.
Yeah.
But this year their body of work in Northville's, they're very comparable. I think Marion, if they were healthy and Northville won, I think we could probably flip-flop them, and we could even say 1A, 1B for right now. But I gotta stick Marion at number 1 again. They had a couple injuries. Who knows if that would have changed some things in the finals. They're a big key contributor, and that's not taking anything away from Northville. Northville got some confidence in that win, and I think they're firm at number 2. Forest Hills Northern and Central. Central beat Northern last week, but again, it's one of those kind of like Marion and Northville. It's a body of work.
Yeah.
I know Forest Hills Northern has beaten Central a couple times this year, and then North Branch. North Branch at top D2 team. Jim Fish just every year gets his team rolling at the end of the year, so I'm excited to watch them in the Division II state playoffs.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, they played really well in the tournament this weekend, so that'll be good to watch them down the stretch. After hearing that list, what is the best way to warm up before practice or a game to help prevent injuries?
Yeah, so, there used to be kind of a myth probably 15, 20 years ago that the best thing was just static stretching, bending down, grabbing your toes, holding that for 30 seconds. I remember probably when I was in gym class in 5th grade, that was what we would always do before a practice. And new research is really showing that we want to be more active with our warm-ups. So I always kind of recommend doing a light 5 to 10 minute jog, get your muscles warmed up, and then doing more dynamic stretches where you're kind of swinging your arms, swinging the legs, kind of more active movements. And then the static stretching where, again, you're kind of reaching, bending, holding those positions for 30, 45 seconds. That's more to be done at the end of our exercises. So you always want to do a good 10 to 15 minute warm up with these dynamic exercises, and then the static stretching after a cool down for another probably 10 to 15 minutes. And that's really the best way to kind of avoid a lot of these overuse injuries.
Entering its 26th year of excellence, applications are being accepted right now for the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Michigan Male and Female High School Athlete of the Year Awards. Not everyone qualifies, so listen closely. If you are a recognized first-team All-State athlete in a sport or projected to be one this school year, if you have at least a cumulative 3.0 GPA, and if you have demonstrated leadership through the school or as a community volunteer, we want you to apply. 6 male and 6 female student athletes will be nominated, with each being awarded $1,000 of college scholarship money. The winners will receive $5,000 each. The 26th Michigan High School Athlete of the Year Awards will take place at the incredible Detroit Athletic Club in downtown Detroit the evening of Monday, June 5th, and streamed live on the State Champs Sports Network. Nomination applications will be accepted through Monday, March 6th, and this is important. You cannot be nominated if you don't apply. Download the application today at dacathleteoftheyear.com. That's dacathleteoftheyear.com.
The theme song will get you fired up for this segment every single time. It is time now for our update on Volleyball Player of the Year, sponsored by Michigan Elite Volleyball Academy. And we have no changes on the list this week, but I have to tell you guys, remember, it's so important for you to get on statechampsw.com and vote for who you think deserves to win Volleyball Player of the Year. We have 10 very good athletes out there, and they want your vote. So be sure to go in there, click who you think deserves to win this one. But Vince, as always, it's so many talented athletes, and every week we do highlight one player. So this week we are going to give some love to Erin Madigan from Macomb, Dakota.
She's a joy to watch. She really is. You can see it in her eyes when she plays. She analyzes the game as the game goes. She was a big part of why Dakota made the state semis last year. Big reason why they're a top team this year and one of the favorites. She's 6'2", tall, athletic kid, but she moves so well. She's a smart athlete, smart volleyball player, smart setter, and I think she's got a great shot. I think she might be a top 3 vote getter if I'm not mistaken too, and she's just a fun kid to watch. She committed to Arkansas State, and I look forward to seeing her play at that next level next year.
Yeah, and speaking of top vote getter, as Vince just pointed out, whichever player at the end is the top vote getter, they stay in the top 10. So that's why it's so important to vote. Just throwing that out there one more time. As we know, Michigan Elite Volleyball is our sponsor for this segment, and you guys actually have a couple of events coming up this week. What are a few of those?
Mini Club is a program that we're probably in year 8 or 9. It's an introduction program for athletes to train. They get 6 weeks of practice, a couple of tournaments. It's very, very low key, have some fun, play with your friends. And then we got a 4-on-4 candy cane tournament coming up too. And it doesn't matter if you're a part of our club or any other club, you can play in it. It's right around Halloween, so it's got that candy corn theme to it too.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun, and that'll be over the next few months. So a lot of opportunities to get involved in the volleyball world if you are interested. Well, another fun episode, Vince, and it's so crazy to think that districts is so close to starting, October 31st. So we are a little over a week away, which is wild.
Yeah, it's coming fast. Teams are gearing up. Talked to a lot of coaches over the weekend, and right now they're in the point of the season where let's just stay healthy. Let's get healthy, let's stay healthy, and start running the state tournament.
Yep, in the home stretch before playoffs get started. So we will have more action for you next week on Above the Net, sponsored by Raymond James. Have a great weekend, everyone. Nominations are being accepted now for the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Michigan High School Athlete of the Year Awards. 6 females and 6 males will win a $1,000 college scholarship and be invited to the DAC in downtown Detroit on June 5th, 2023 to find out who will be this year's Athlete of the Year. Seniors only, and you can't be nominated if you don't apply. Find out more and download the application at dacathleteoftheyear.com. State Champs Above the Net is presented by Raymond James, tailored financial advice that helps you live your life. State Champs Above the Net is also powered by Lawrence Technological University. Visit ltuathletics.com and recruit yourself. Michigan Elite Volleyball, work hard, play hard. Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Army National Guard, a proud sponsor of the MHSAA. And the Detroit Medical Center Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine Pros. Visit dmc.org/gamechangers.